Today, we take a look back at one of the most significant products of the past 20 years. Yes, the Tesla Model S shook the industry, but its echo is fading. The consumer electronics industry has changed radically over the past 2 decades. AR/VR devices have come and gone and come again. Smartphones have grown from filling our pockets to dominating our lives. And the tendrils of connected services now touch everything we touch. Yet, for me, the most exciting to watch has been the development of technology that moves us. I mean that literally. Cars and scooters and e-bikes and all the other wild and wonderful modes of transportation that have grown wings or wheels over the past few decades. A love for all that stuff has always been at my core. Many moons ago, before my time as editor-in-chief of this site, I served as automotive editor. In the late 2000s, that mainly meant pondering what was happening in the world of Ford Sync or writing about flying car concepts that today are still very decidedly grounded. An excellent perk was getting to drive many early EVs, though it didn't always end well. In 2012, I made an aborted attempt to get from Portland to Seattle for an emissions-free Engadget Show episode. The poor Mitsubishi i-Me EV we'd borrowed wasn't up to the task. But then along came the Tesla Model S. At the time, I knew it would be significant. Everyone in the industry knew it would be significant, but it is only in looking back more than a decade later that we can truly appreciate just how significant it was. In the rear view mirror, we can also see what a shame it is Tesla has barely moved the needle since. In the long lead-up to that car's eventual late 2012 release, Tesla invited me out to a supposed grand reopening of its Fremont factory. The place was unbelievably massive and virtually empty. Tesla officials were proud to show off the numerous giant presses that would stamp out Model S components. Other Tesla employees were dutifully feeding into those presses metal sheets, which came out the other end as flat as they went in. The presses were there and they were pressin', but the dies that formed the parts were absent. This event, like the many Tesla events to come, was somewhat lacking in substance. Still, the time I spent chatting with Peter Rawlinson had a huge impact on me. Formerly of Lotus and Jaguar, Rawlinson was the chief engineer at Tesla at the time. He and I talked for ages about the advantages of low-slung battery packs and the torque behavior of electric motors. It's all standard stuff these days, but back then, it was a fantastic opportunity for me to learn. You can enjoy some of his insight in a series of videos at Engadget.com. Early Tesla EVs had 2-speed transmissions. I asked Rawlinson whether there was a third gear for handling reverse. No, he said. We just spin the motor backward. That seems like such a simple concept now, but that moment caused a small yield explosion between my ears. I spent the remainder of the day pondering the myriad other unforeseen implications of this switch to electrification. Nothing else happening in the industry was nearly as exciting as this. The seismic forces generated when the Model S dropped still echo through the industry. You can feel them in virtually every premium EV on the market today. And yet, it's in those other EVs that the bulk of EV innovation is happening. If you look at what Peter Rawlinson did with the Lucid Air, a sedan that goes over 500 miles on a charge, it's easy to imagine what could have been had he not parted ways with Tesla. The on-road performance of the Porsche Taycan, the off-road prowess of the Rivian R1T, and the minimalist cool of the Volvo EX30 are raising the bar. Tesla has been more successful than any other manufacturer at getting more EVs into more driveways and at getting more chargers into more places. Tesla made EVs viable and desirable. You have to respect it for that. Lately, though, the company's greatest achievements have all focused on cutting costs and minimizing complexity, often at the expense of quality and, indeed, safety. Look at today's Model S, and you still see the car that was released in 2012. It's quicker and has more range, sure, but it is the same platform and basic design I reviewed over a decade ago. Pondering the time wasted on vanity projects like the Model X and vaporware like the new Roadster, it's hard not to feel the ache of missed potential. Thanks for listening to the show. Make sure to rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. Today's show featured journalism by Engadget contributor Tim Stevens and was produced by Spoken Layer. I'm Imran Sheikh, and as always, we'll talk more tomorrow.
Spoken Layer.